Every single day, I see more and more authors hiding behind pen names, and it is absolutely embarrassing because if we are going to create a literary renaissance, then we need real men and women to stand behind their work and not be a bunch of pansies. Because I understand that maybe you don't like your last name, because it's hard to mispronounce or something. And so I do support people changing their name and adopting a pen name, but only if they are going to stand behind it and be a public persona, because we have been inundated. We have been programmed with the golden age of writing, the 20th century version of what we think a writer should be, where we can send our work off to a slush pile and do absolutely nothing and attain success and do nothing but write and drink tea and listen to our vinyl in the evening. But that is narcissistic and selfish, because art is meant to transform. Art is meant to actually do something to the individual who's receiving it. Art for art's sake is a fucking joke. We have enough of it. Do you not know that? Do you not understand that we have enough entertaining art and enough great art in every single field forever? But the role of current art, the role of you being a contemporary author, is that you can connect to the collective unconscious. You can connect to people's problems and what people are going through in the world, because you are a sensitive individual, aka an artist. And with that ability, you can produce something that gives people's alienated sides, their lonely sides, their shadow selves light out in the world. But when they see that the author who wrote it is hiding behind a pen name, is not being an individual out in the world, who isn't standing behind their work, talking about their work, saying to anyone and everyone who will listen, not just online, but at their job, hey, I'm a writer, then that's embarrassing. And then that will give them permission to stay hidden also. What are we? People have so many excuses. People say, do you not know the times? It's so easy to get canceled now. My job may care. You're not. Your job doesn't fucking care. Nobody reads. No one cares. Once again, these are thoughts of paranoid narcissists. Do you not think that if your job for whatever reason fired you because you wrote a bad boy short story and talked about sex and drugs, oh no, that you couldn't find a job somewhere else, a boss that wouldn't care? Or once again, are you just trying to hold on to your little world? You don't want anything to change. And the reason that people do that is because they don't have art that creates change. If your art is actually good, it will transform you as you are writing it. It is going to put you on an emotional roller coaster, and you are going to end up a different person at the other end, whether for better or for worse. This may be mind-blowing information, but to create a utopia with a capital U, yes, I'm saying the word utopia. Everyone, the guru meter should be going off now in your head. The logic bros should be freaking out right now. If we are going to create a utopia, it's going to require you and I and a lot of other people to think beyond ourselves. It's mind-blowing stuff. We are going to have to become individuals that transcend greed and the malignant aspects of our personality. And we are going to have to lead from the front, because yes, there are a bunch of unconscious NPCs out in the world that aren't going to follow the program. Do you not think I understand that? Do you think that people who preach about a better world and about nonviolence and about transformation don't know about all the random assholes and jerks at the bottom of the barrel? But just because they exist doesn't mean we don't take the ring and try to drop it in Mount Doom. Have you guys not read any story? Do you guys not know about the core of all literature? What's the point? What's the point of a coming of age story? To become a hollow shell who uses a pen name? Is that the end of the road? Honestly? Art for art's sake? And this is one of the biggest reasons why the internet has sucked, is that people say all the time that, like, it's great that we could be anonymous posters. There's going to be like a shit poster right now in the comments. It's great you can hide behind that. And it's honestly one of the worst things that's ever happened. In 99% of scenarios, we don't need a whistleblower. We don't need someone who learned how to use logic. Oh my God, gold star, you learned how to do it. Oh my God. You and every single human since the first one, unless they were mentally disabled, learned how to use logic. But you just do it more than others. Wow. But if right now, all you guys had your name behind the comments, you would act differently. You would be more positive. And that's the point, because when there are scammers and snake oil salesmen, if real members of the community come and throw them out, then that's a big deal. But when any random person online can call any other person a grifter or a scammer or someone that doesn't know anything, then it loses its effect because there's no one behind it. There are people online who say a million different negative things about me and what I'm trying to do. But if your entire life purpose so far has been making a baby or being a son and daughter or daughter of someone and working at a job to increase the GDP of the country and to move the economy, then I would say you've wasted a lot of time. And that's okay. If that's what you're doing, cool. But if you're going to talk shit about someone else, then if it was your name, then someone could just Google you and be like, okay, what have you contributed? But that's one of the weird fourth walls of YouTube. One of the things that you're not allowed to do in the world and on YouTube right now, and I have to hold myself back from it right now, or in general, is to turn back to the audience and say, what have you done? Who are you? Because you're suddenly an elitist. You're a guru. You are unrealistic. And what's crazy is that I've been able to have the impact that I've been able to have. I've been able to get people to trust me online because I just come on here and talk without a script every single day. I have a quote ready and have not once used a script. And so sometimes I'm off. Sometimes I mispronounce words. I say random things. I go on tangents. I just am totally off and make a boring video. It doesn't really matter. But when someone makes a video essay channel where they talk about these things and they're perfect, I know that I don't enjoy them as much. I can't build that relationship with them. And it's the same thing with a pen name. A literary renaissance is not possible if we have a bunch of profile pictures of some fucking anime. We need real individuals, writers, who have the confidence to say, my name is Ian Kadanak, and anyone who's interested in nature poetry should come and join me. I'm doing something different than Gary Snyder, than the Chinese poets, than Robinson Jeffers, whoever else. I'm the new guy on the block. And if you want to connect deeper with nature and see a different perspective, then come with me, please. And I want to help you guys start on this journey. And so I have created, and I'm launching next Monday, a free writing school where I'm going to be hosting daily writing challenges, weekly writing challenges, writing contests, showing you guys in my classroom how to write better, how to build your audience. That's going to be built out over time. And I'm also going to be posting daily videos that won't be over here because I want this movement to actually work. I want people to care about reading again. I want there to be less unnecessary suffering in the world. And that starts with people emotionally, spiritually, and intellectually awakening. And books are one of the best ways to make that happen. Or online writing, either or. What's crazy is that I've changed my life more through stuff I've read online than probably any other thing. Next is hosting your own writing on WordPress. And what's great about WordPress or something like it, or creating your own website without WordPress, is that you can control how it looks. And that is really important. Like I said, on some of my past blogs that are still up, like on yoga and stuff, they look really, really good, like in terms of readability, because I've manipulated like the line length and the font and all these different things to make it optimum for online readers, whether it's on mobile or on a desktop. I can't do that and perfect that on Substack, and that kind of sucks, or a lot of these other websites I've mentioned. But Substack has problems, first of all, collecting emails. That can be very problematic. You have to do like pop-ups and enter email, and it doesn't really work as well. And then third, monetizing on WordPress can be a nightmare. I've done multiple courses and monetized multiple WordPress sites, and the original Cormac McCarthy course was monetized on WordPress with a plugin called MemberPress. And it's just really clunky to run, because what's really great about Substack is that a lot of people already have a Substack account. But when I had my website on rightconscious.com, you had to create a username and a login just for my website. And then I had a Discord channel and like all this stuff, and it just all could have been done once again on a Substack. And so I would say, unless you are offering like services, unless you are like an editor or going to be doing coaching or something, I wouldn't recommend posting your personal work over on a WordPress site. The only people I see doing that successfully who aren't big are people offering their services. Because that's a problem with Substack, for instance, that I can't sell like my coaching or my editing services directly on there. So obviously there's places like Wattpad and fan fiction websites, but those won't get you any traction because the end goal is, first of all, to have fun. I'm talking about making money, but the first thing you want is to get 100 people who love you and to develop a relationship with them and know when you release something, you're going to have a group of readers who are more than just your friends and family. And then after that, you can start worrying about trying to do this full time. But having to worry about the nightmare of creating your own website and a lot of that stuff isn't worth the payoff when right now, today, you could format your Substack, honestly optimize it in like an hour or two, and then be posting away and not have to worry about that again forever. I don't think I've changed my about page or my profile picture or anything on Substack since I created it, which probably isn't great, but it just shows you that you can basically just post, build relationships with other people, and that's all you need to do to be successful. And so once again, if you guys want to learn more about how to grow on Substack, how to get your first 10 readers and then your first 100 readers, go check out my free school course where I talk about all of this, and I will see you guys all very, very soon. You are taking a much harder road by being an authentic artistic voice in the world. I know that over 50% of my audience are Christians. And I've studied and lived Christianity deeply before. But when it comes time to unload on religion, I'm not scared to do it. And that's what's so liberating about standing behind your art. You can embody the idea of a real nonconformist, because the nonconformists of today are the Joe Rogans or the girl with the blue hair and stuff like that. But David Foster Wallace predicted it. The real nonconformist in 2024 is someone who enjoys silence, someone who is contemplating things at a deeper level, who is slowing down and working on longer projects and trying to create positive change in the world that doesn't have to necessarily focus on shock factors or psychedelics or on these deep epic trips, but rather through the fundamental principles of life. Because in 2024, once again, we have an opportunity for maybe the first time ever, to be able to explore all of that. And when you look back at a lot of writers, like I love C.S. Lewis and Tolkien, because they were nonconformists in kind of the world of Christianity at the time. Here these guys tapping back into mythology and writing these fantasy books and kind of having a radical take on religion that, the Protestant world couldn't get down with. I think of Amiri Baraka. Do you guys know Leroy Jones, who later changed his name, a pen name, to Amiri Baraka, one of the best black poets ever? And because this is a literary channel, and I don't care about viewer retention because I'm speaking from an artistic spirit, and Amiri Baraka just came to me. Let's read one of his poems. Let's go. Preface to a 20-volume suicide note. What a fucking title of a poem. Lately, I've become accustomed to the way the ground opens up and envelops me each time I go out to walk the dog, or the broad-edge, silly music the wind makes when I run for a bus. Things have come to that. And now, each night I count the stars, and each night I get the same number. And when they will not come to be counted, I count the holes they leave. Nobody sings anymore. And then last night, I tiptoed up to my daughter's room and heard her talking to someone. And when I opened the door, there was no one there. Only she on her knees, peeking into her own clasped hands. And Baraka got in a lot of trouble with that poem. The AD yelled, denounced him. I think he went on Bill O'Reilly. It was a huge deal. But that was when, being polarizing and stuff wasn't normal. And so I get the need to be anonymous. But a lot of the time when I hear that now, and I was the same way, I was resisting human connection because I've currently kind of revamped my entire business, and I'm really trying to connect personally with as much of my members on Substack as I can. And I've talked to hundreds of people, over Zoom so far, just since last May. And I went from just posting content and posting blog posts to more of a personal approach on my Substack and with my writing. And it's changed my life. Like I literally, if you go back, when I watch my videos from 5 months ago in May, I talk differently and I act differently now because I've become connected to the people that I'm serving. And me hiding away, me sitting in a lot of the blockages that I talk about and was talking about years ago, was one of the worst things that I ever did for my writing career and for my content creation career. And so it's much harder to connect with someone on Zoom when your camera's off and your name is Naruto. I tell people who I am, where I live, what I do. I've hung out with at least 10 of my Substack members because a lot of them live in Arizona, whether in Phoenix or in Tucson. I'm doing a meetup in Las Vegas at the start of the year. Like, I am trying to meet up and do events. As this channel is going to grow, I'm going to go on a tour around the country and go to bookstores and meet up with people. Like, I'm 100% in now for not just being myself, but then connecting with people. And that's revamping the total definition of what a writer is supposed to be. Cormac McCarthy, who hates writers and doesn't talk to them. And it hasn't been easy, because if you're going to be a writer and stand behind your work, then people are going to criticize you. People are going to be shady, you know? I've made friends with people, and then they've asked me to, like, you know, edit their entire novel or like be weird. And I was like, oh, you're just talking to me so I would review your book on my channel or something. Like, that stuff happens, but the good far outweighs the bad. And so being anonymous is cool, but this is what I've always said, that if you're going to be of the world, if you're going to go have a wife or a husband and have a job and not live a very solitude and monk lifestyle. Like, I have a friend named Matt, and Matt is a writer and a damn good writer. And he is kind of one of these people, but he in the summers does wildlife firefighting and is out on his own. Doesn't talk to anyone, is just living a reclusive life, lives out of his car. And then in the winters, he comes down to Arizona and he literally works at mines, like abandoned mines, and like goes and excavates in them. That's his life. He's living a reclusive lifestyle. He's not trying to be of the world. He has a flip phone. He doesn't use the internet. He uses a typewriter that's literally on a fold-out table next to his car when he can write. But the author who's watching me on YouTube right now and wants to remain reclusive, that's a joke to me. And I don't know if there are any other reasons. Am I missing something? Why do you have a pen name? Why are you holding on to this so much? The other thing I will say is that pen names can be cool for like artistic stuff. Like, there are rappers and stuff. Like, for instance, I'm thinking of like the Suicide Boys, who have all these different personas. And they're like, they're a certain sound is connected to a certain persona, and it kind of tells a story. There are a lot of rappers like this. Not a lot, I should say, but that's a thing. And there are some writers like this too. But the artist is standing behind their work. Like, rappers who do that literally go out on tour and shake hands and say hello. And so I've considered doing that. I actually may do that for my book after this book. And it's probably will still say Ian Kanak somewhere on it, but I may have like a secondary pen name on the book, because it's this energy I'm trying to embody. And for that book, it's the energy of a Chinese wilderness poet like Han Shan or Li Po or someone of that nature. And so speak to me, people. Why do you have a pen name? What did I get wrong? Why are you scared? I need you for the literary renaissance. And so thank you guys for being here. If you're going to use a pen name, I'm not going to judge you. I still love you. But pull it together, everybody. Go join the school course, and I'll see you guys over there and all of your crazy writing very, very soon.